Hi, I'm 𝗃𝗶𝘁 and this week I want to show you the money. Picture the moment you've been eagerly awaiting your P&L all week. Finally, it has arrived. You look through the figures, you look at your turnover, it's exactly where it needs to be. Going through the margins, cost of sales, everything's great. As you go through your overheads, everything's more or less where it needs to be. You get to the net profit line and it's amazing. You've hit your target, you've done a great job and you've achieved the exact net profit that you wanted to. And as you're about to give your team high fives, they've done such a good job all month, you're just about to give yourself a pat on the back and then you realize, hold on, where's all of that cash? Because I don't have all of that cash in my bank. What is going on? Well, let me show you the money. If you are like many other business owners, the thing is you're only looking at your P&L and therefore you have a one-sided view of what's really going on in your business. Profitability is important, but the thing that I think is even more important is your company's ability to turn profit into cash in the bank. And unless you understand your working capital cycle, you won't really be able to detect if there are any issues going on there that might be causing frustration down the line. So what is a working capital cycle? Well, a working capital cycle is all about your company's ability to move cash through debtors, creditors, work in progress if you are a service company, or stock if you are a trading company. And if you have any inefficiency in this working capital cycle, it's going to be a longer cycle than it needs to be, which means that it's going to take longer for money to move through your company. In reality, what that means is you need to finance that gap. So let me give you some stock figures. If we look at this company, a £4 million turnover with an operating profit of 450,000, you look at this and you think, wow, these guys are on fire, they're doing really well, high profitability, but let me show you these figures. So as you look at this, you kind of think, okay, so what is this actually telling me? Well, if you only looked at the P&L, this company would be on fire, but as you start to look through these figures over here, their debtors are actually quite high. They're holding lots of stock and they're paying people too fast. What you'll find is that this company has a cash gap of 128 days. In reality, what that means for this business is that they have to find cash to be able to finance that gap. So they need to find about £875,000 in order to finance this gap in their business. It is really important information because furthermore, every additional million in turnover that this company adds means that we'll have to find an extra 220,000 in working capital to be able to trade through that additional increase. Now, if you don't understand what your working capital cycle is, the chances are that you'll probably be trying to fix your short-term cash flow issues with more sales, or by trying to put your own money into the business, or by trying to secure more financing from banks. That is not the fundamental issue that you need to address. What you need to understand is whether you have got inefficiency in your working capital cycle. So what should you do about it? Well, the first thing you need to do is obviously crunch the numbers. Find out what this looks like in your business, because if you have ambitions to grow your business, then you will find that you are going to run out of cash really fast, especially if this is exacerbated by you having to invest in additional infrastructure or equipment to be able to grow your business. The next thing you need to do is get your team together and come up with a plan to be able to sort out where the bottlenecks might be. Do you need to look at debtors? Do you need to look at creditors? Do you need to invoice faster in terms of work in progress? Or is it that you just need to be able to reduce your stock holding and reduce the dead stock? It's a really important concept and one that you definitely need to spend the time to investigate. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will see you next week on Mind Your Own Business.